Hola, hola. My name is Ramon, cosmetic chemist, esthetician, product developer. If you're not aware, recently I launched my collaboration with Beauty of Joseon in the form of our matte sunstick, and that's been on the market now for a little over a month. It's sold out in the first week. And so first of all, I just want to say thank you to all of you for hyping up the launch, really supporting the launch. It means the world to me to be sitting here at this point saying all these things. So fresh in the game too. I've only been doing this now this will be my third year. So thank you to you all for making this possible and making the launch so successful. I am here today to discuss all the behind the scenes of how that sunstick came to be, from the inception to the launch itself. So let's get into it. So how does a brand collaboration come to be? Well, basically the brand reaches out to you and they say, hey, we want to collab. And I explained this a little bit in the video review for the sunstick itself. And if you haven't watched that to know all the details about the sunstick itself, I'll have that card up here. But basically their influencer marketing manager, Alyssa, emailed me one day and she said, hey, we'd love to potentially do a collaboration with you. And I explained this in the last video, but how I basically discovered this was I was doing emails and going over emails with my husband. I'm the worst when it comes to emails. So he really has to be like at least once a week, like, okay, we need to go through our emails. Come on, sit down, let's do it. So we were going through emails and I clicked on the email from Alyssa. Shout out to Alyssa. I didn't even read the email because we were talking about something, but something told me, look in the middle of your screen. And the only sentence that stood out to me was, Ramon flies out to Korea. And I said, wait, hold up, what? And so I read the full email and I just like stopped what I was doing. I stopped talking and I just sat there like, and we basically processed the whole message, which was, we would love to have Ramon help us develop a product, collaborate on what that product looks like, come out to Korea, meet the formulating team, tour the manufacturing facility, do all that stuff. And so this was back, I believe, March or April of 2022. So we're coming up on a year now of the inception of this project. And basically we followed up and we're like, no doubt about it, like we'd love to do this. So then we hopped on a call. And basically Alyssa was with us from step one. She was our direct contact with Beauty of Joseon, and she is the reason this product really came to me because, as I mentioned, I'm bad at email. So homegirl was following up on emails, texting my phone, like blowing up my phone just to remind me to do A, B, C, and D. And so we have these calls and we were calling, I think, every week or every 2 weeks to decide. Initially it was, what's this collaboration going to be? She was like, we're thinking sunscreen. And I was like, I 100% agree with that. It's very much a part of my brand. And so after back and forth, we came up on a sun stick. And I said, yes, but this has to be a matte sun stick. And with that was this conversation of why. It really, again, comes down to you guys. All the comments, DMs, questions, all the requests, all the complaints, y'all leave in the comments, really told me what product I wanted to develop was going to be something that left a matte finish on the skin for oily, acne-prone skin. Sunsticks aren't new, but basically all the sunsticks that were on the market were glowy. Especially some of these Korean sunsticks are very glowy, very luminous, very dewy finish. That's great for those people who want that, but there's a lot of people who don't. And there wasn't exactly a product that was catered to those people. So Alyssa was like, are you sure about this? And I said, yes, let's do it. And from there, it became a matter of let's delve more and expand on what's this going to look like. And so if you're not aware, when it comes to product development, you decide on what's called a benchmark product. And most times that's going to be a product that's already out on the market that you base the product on. Before we decided on what that sunstick was going to look like, she was like, okay, so here's a couple benchmarks I was thinking of. And those were the Shiseido sunstick, which I love, the Abib sunstick, and then I forgot what the third and fourth ones were. And so we had conversations about, well, I like this about this sunstick. I like this about this sunstick. I don't like this quality. And that's how we narrowed things down. So then she reached out to the contract manufacturer and they sent, I think it was about 6 different samples. And so if you're not aware, in Korea, a lot of the brands who sell globally go through contract manufacturers because they don't have their own chemist teams. A lot of the brands have product developers on their teams, but they don't have in-house chemists. And so what you do is you go to a company that their whole thing is they formulate these products for you. You can buy a base formula or you pay them to develop a brand new formula for you. And depending on which route you go, you start to adjust things from there. This happens in America and internationally as well. It's not just Korea, but we see it a lot from the major brands from Korea that sell overseas. So the company we went with was called CosMax. And if you're not aware, the big companies are Colmar, CosMax, and I forget the third one. I think it's either Intercos or New Cos. And while Colmar is arguably like the number one company when it comes to sunscreens, as we've seen with all these international launches, even Beauty of Joseon did their first sunscreen launch with Colmar, we decided to go for CosMax. And so you might be wondering, if they hired a team of chemists, why are you involved in this? Well, first of all, I'm the content creator and I'm a chemist. So I combine those two worlds of being able to speak to a product, speak to ingredients, decide for, in this case, what goes in the sun stick and why, but also come on camera, be able to explain the why, explain the how, essentially market the sun stick and why I chose everything I did. And they were like, we love your experience, we love your ingredient knowledge, and also your perspective of you love Korean beauty, but you're a cosmetic chemist in the West, in America and in Europe. So you have a perspective so many other content creators don't have, and that's why we want you to be a part of this launch, which I was like, thank you. That being said, we decided on, of all the 6 benchmarks, this is the one that I really like in terms of, I like the look of it, I like the finish of it, kind of, which I'll get to in a second. Alyssa was like, okay, so what do you want to be a part of the sunstick? What is the story? And as you all know, Beauty of Joseon, they are a Hanbang focused skincare brand, which Hanbang, which I'll get to in a little bit, is basically kind of homage / return to a focus on, if you will, Korean traditional medicinal herbs, botanical extracts, all that. And so Alyssa was like, obviously the first sunscreen we launched was under the rice line. We also have the option to do mung bean, which at that point they hadn't launched their mung bean line yet. We also have green tea and we have Artemisia. Obviously I love so many of those ingredients, but at that point I was like, my favorite color is green. I'm feeling this green vibe. I love Artemisia and what it is for oily acne prone skin. Let's do Artemisia. And then I was like, okay, so here's the deal. I want a matte sunstick, but I would like it to focus on these different things. So because I want a matte finish, I would love to consider these emollients because they're volatile. They're a lot more lightweight for oily skin. They have the ability to not leave a greasy finish or skin feel. I'm thinking potentially these functional fillers. So like silica, for example, because I was like, you need something to help control oil and help to keep a shine-free finish. And I'm thinking these set of actives because fundamentally I want antioxidant protection, potentially something focused on pigmentation. And so I sent that list to her and she was like, okay, I'll forward this to CosMax and we'll start the development process. We are still springtime. We start having this back and forth of, okay, so here's initial samples. What do you think? And just for perspective, I have 6 samples in this bag. I think these are from just the timeline of like August till October of really nailing down what that finish is going to look like. There's at least, I think, a dozen more samples, including the 6 benchmarks that we were deciding upon. So a lot of samples were sent back and forth to try to get the finish to what it is right now. And as you can see, these are all iterations of what became the final sunscreen. But before we had different colors, different finishes. Some of them were more gel type. Some of them were actually mineral based or had mineral filters in them. And I was like, no. That was a big thing as well in my ingredients list. I was like, these are the no's. I was like, we're not doing zinc or titanium. We're not doing Tenosorb M. We're not doing niacinamide. I was trying these sunscreens out and about. I was wearing them out and about with my friends to reapply, under makeup, over makeup. And there was points where I was putting on the sunsticks and my friends were like, you look horrible right now. Like you look so greasy or you got it all up in your beard. I was really testing because some of these just weren't as matte as I wanted them to be. Some of the textures were really off. Some of them would pill. So a lot of work went into really nailing down what was that final formula. And even before we got to like what the final form was, because as I mentioned, those 6 I showed you were from about July until the final launch, I got flown out to Korea. So me and my husband went out to Korea to meet the Beauty of Joseon team. And Alyssa, who I mentioned earlier, as well as the brand director Sumin, were at the airport to pick us up, which was really, really cute. And basically the first few days we were in Korea in June, we met the team. We had the initial meetings to discuss what the PR box design was going to be, what the packaging design was going to be, what the overall storyline for the launch was going to be as well. Like really meeting the team and understanding their perspective of the launch as well beyond just my own was really, really useful. And in these meetings, we got to meet their product development manager. Her name is Na-young, as well as Jae-hoon. And they were also part of discussing, okay, so like, why are we doing this? What's going on with this? One of the other things, the big part of our trip was we got to go to CosMax and actually meet the man in charge of this launch. His name was Won Buryong. And with him, we got to actually have a whole meeting. Essentially, when I was developing the idea and kind of explaining things to Alyssa, and I actually got to interview Won, we're gonna call him Won because that's how he introduced himself to me, and ask a bunch of questions that I felt that you guys might be curious about directly from the mouth of the man responsible for formulating the sunstick itself. And what's really funny is in the meeting initially, obviously I met Won, and a really funny thing that happens in Korea when you meet someone in a professional setting is that they always present their business card to you. So he did that with me. And I had to explain to him, well, the translator did, who I was. And once he found out I was a cosmetic chemist, like the whole vibe shifted. He was very excited and really eager to ask questions as well. But as I mentioned, I actually did get to interview him. I asked him a bunch of questions that I was thinking maybe you guys as my followers would ask as well. So let's go listen to that interview. As you can see, I'm here in location in Seoul. Right now I'm sitting with Won here at CosMax, and we're gonna be talking about sun sticks, specifically the sun stick that I am launching with Beauty of Joseon. So Won, explain to us what it is you do here at CosMax, what your job title is, and what some of your daily job duties are.
저는 코스맥스에서 선 제형을 전체적으로 담당을 하고 있고요. 그리고 뭐 선 제형이 이제 여러 가지가 있는데 선 로션, 크림, 뭐 스틱, 스프레이, 그다음에 선 쿠션 이런 여러 가지 제형을 뭐 연구하고 담당을 하고 있습니다.
So what is the primary difference, if any, between a sun stick and a sun lotion?
선 로션 같은 경우에는 일반적으로 이제 점도나 이렇게 흐름성이 있는 제형들인데 그거는 이제 손을 사용해서 이제 피부에 어떻게 보면 발라야 되는 조금 불편함이 있으면 선스틱 같은 경우에는 이제 손을 취하지 않고 이 스틱으로 피부에 이제 바를 수 있어서 좀 더 위생적이고 간편하다고 할 수 있습니다.
Is there any difference in the efficacy between a sunstick and a sun lotion at all?
선 제형에서 봤을 때 선스틱 같은 경우에는 물이 안 들어간 제형이라서 일반적인 선 로션들보다 자외선 차단제가 동일하다고 가정을 했을 때 이 선스틱이 좀 더 훨씬 좋은 효과를 나타내게 됩니다. 이게 설명을 드리면 자외선 차단제가 보통 이제 오일 솔로블해서 물이 있는 곳에는 피부 바를 때 거기가 어떻게 보면 물이 있던 곳이 빈 공간이 될 수가 있는데 이거 같은 경우는 물이 없어서 그냥 다 유상이 되고 자체적으로 빈 공간이 생길 어떤 그런 가능성이 없거든요. 그래서 선스틱이 이제 그러니까 유분산 선스틱이 가장 이제 자외선 차단제가 똑같다고 하면 가장 높게 나와요.
So is that primarily just due to it being oil-based?
예.
Yeah. So this is technically a sun stick. It's generally more oil-based. And with sun sticks, an issue with developing this product was that I wanted a light texture, a matte texture, something more appropriate. This is for oily skin with a more matte finish. What specifically about the formulation, what ingredients make it so that it is better for oily skin?
선스틱 같은 경우에는 100% 지금 이 제품은 100% 오일로 되어 있어서 이제 오일리 스킨에게 안 맞는다고 생각하실 수가 있는데 이런 유분산 제형에 넣을 수 있는 어떤 그런 피지를 흡수한다거나 오일을 흡수하는 이런 흡유 파우더가 있거든요. 그런 부분들을 잘 조합을 하게 되면은 나중에 이제 피부에 발랐을 때 올라오는 피지까지도 흡수할 수 있는 그런 기능을 가질 수 있기 때문에 이 제품은 이제 오일리 스킨에도 맞는 선스틱입니다.
So I'm going to ask about the silicones that help with any of the texture or the spreadability, or is it just like primarily oils?
우선 실리콘 성분들이 피부에는 어떻게 보면 이제 좋다 나쁘다 이제 여러 가지 의견이 있지만 제형을 하는 사람으로서 실리콘이 들어가게 되면은 사용감적인 측면에서는 상당히 좋아지거든요. 그런 부분들이 있고 그리고 자외선 차단제 중에도 어떻게 보면 실리콘 백본에 그런 자외선 차단제들이 있는데 그런 부분들을 이제 사용하게 되면은 여러 가지 이제 장점이 있기 때문에 그런 자외선 차단제를 사용했을 때는 그에 어울리는 실리콘 오일들을 같이 써주면 이게 시너지 효과도 나고 사용감도 좋아지기 때문에 그렇게 뭐 실리콘이 꼭 나쁘다고는 그러니까 꼭 나쁘다고 생각하지는 않습니다.
So obviously this is a product we're developing with Beauty of Joseon. With developing a sunscreen, obviously there's things to take into consideration to maintain UV filter stability and ensure you're getting adequate sun protection out of this. What are some factors that you consider when developing a sun stick when it comes to UV filters?
우선은 자외선 차단제들을 사용을 했을 때는 그 자외선 차단제들과 어울리는 오일을 사용을 해야 되는데 그 어울리는 오일들 중에서도 사용감이 이제 괜찮은 오일들을 이제 선택을 하는 게 굉장히 좀 어려운 일인데 그런 부분들에 있어서 이 선스틱에 적용된 오일들은 자외선 차단제하고도 잘 어울리면서 사용감도 가벼운 오일들로 조합을 잘 했습니다. 그리고 거기에 이제 사용감에 좀 더 보송한 감을 주기 위해서 그런 부분들을 개선한 어떤 흡유 파우더들을 적용을 해서 사용감이 되게 좋게 나오면서도 선 지수가 상당히 잘 나오는 선스틱입니다. 이 선스틱에는 자외선 차단제로 우선 UVB 쪽을 막아주는 SPF를 올리는 에틸엑실 트리아존이라는 성분과 폴리실리콘 15라는 성분을 적용을 했고요. 그리고 이제 PA 쪽, UVA 쪽을 높여 막아주기 위해서 BMT라는 성분과 그리고 DHHB라는 성분을 같이 사용을 해서 SPF와 PA 쪽에서 모두 이제 고른 차단을 해주는 선스틱입니다.
So considering that your job mainly revolves around sunscreen technology, what is one of your favorite elements of developing a sunscreen or working on sun protection products?
우선 한국인들이 자외선 차단제를 선택을 하게 될 때 자외선 차단 기능은 이제 기본적으로 이제 생각을 하고 있고 사용감이 가장 좋은 걸 어떻게 보면 선택을 하게 되고 그게 판매량이 가장 높거든요. 그렇다 보니까 자외선 차단 기능은 어떻게 보면 기본적으로 이제 다 이제 갖춰줘야 되고, 그러면서도 사용감이 되게 이제 좋은 제품을 만들어내는데 어떻게 보면 뭐 저뿐만이 아니라 한국의 선 제형을 하시는 연구원들이 거의 그쪽에 초점을 두고 아마 개발을 하실 것 같아요.
What is something that you wish everyone knew about sunscreen that most people don't know or that people get wrong?
우선 자외선 차단제들이 유기 자외선 차단제들이 있고 이제 무기 자외선 차단제들이 있는데, 최근 들어서 어떻게 보면은 뭐 리프세이프라든지 유기 자외선 차단제들이 피부를 이제 흡수가 되면서 되게 어떻게 보면 유전이라든지 아니면 독성적으로 안 좋다 이런 내용들이 되게 많이 나오면서 무기 쪽으로 거의 제품들을 어떻게 보면은 안전하다 이런 느낌으로 가고 있는데, 그거는 어떻게 보면은 이제 효용성을 좀 따져야 될 것 같아요. 유기 자외선 차단제 같은 경우에는 사용감이 좋고 그리고 가볍고, 그리고 자외선 차단은 뭐 당연하겠지만 안 바르는 것보다는 자외선 차단제를 사용해서 자외선으로부터 왔을 때 뭐 어떤 피부적인 어떤 노화라든지 아니면은 더 심하게 되면 뭐 피부암이라든지 그런 부분들을 막아줄 수 있는 기능을 가진 선 제품을 사용을 하는 게 어떻게 보면은 더 좋다는 생각을 가지고 있고요. 그리고 뭐 유기가 좋다, 무기가 좋다 이런 부분들은 어떻게 보면 개인의 선호도에 따라서 선택을 하시면 될 것 같아요. 그리고 또 뭐 저희가 이제 한국에서는 어떻게 보면 EWG 그린이라는 이슈가 많이 이제 대두가 되면서 많이 그쪽의 제품들을 많이 만들고는 있지만, 이게 뭐 어떻게 보면 EWG라는 단체가 화학적인 전문가들의 단체가 아닌 그냥 어떤 환경단체 느낌의 사람들이 그 부분은 뭐 등급을 나눴는데, 연구원적인 입장에서 보면은 솔직히 그게 꼭 그렇게 해야지만 뭐 좀 더 세이프티가 안전하다 이런 부분이라고 생각은 하진 않거든요. 그래서 어떻게 보면은 너무 이런 부분들을 좀 선동하는 어떤 그런 뉴스들도 있는 것 같고, 그런 부분들은 소비자분들이 잘 어떻게 보면은 좀 더 이제 관심을 가지시고 알아보셔야지만 그런 선택할 수 있는 기준을 마련하실 수가 있으니까, 어떻게 보면 화장품이나 이런 부분들에 좀 더 관심을 가지셔서 그런 기준을 세우셔서 구매를 하시면 더 좋은 제품이 나오지 않을까 그렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
So with that, obviously, huge thank you to Juan for his insight, his information, and obviously for helping to develop this product. Obviously, as a formulator, I love to come on here and talk to you guys about all these things myself, but having someone like Juan with a lot of experience, a lot of expertise in this field, who can speak from his own experience, especially having helped to develop this product, it hopefully means a lot more from him. So huge thank you, and I really appreciate you being part of this process, being part of this video. If you have any questions for Juan, myself, or Beauty of Joseon about this product or sunscreens in general, leave those down below in the comments section. Any last words for the audience?
라몬 많이 사랑해주세요.
Bye guys. So yeah, getting to meet Juan was a really cool experience, and getting to hear his perspective on a lot of the launch itself and the development of the product was really interesting, even for me. So I was really happy we got to do that. And he actually introduced us to the woman who was behind specifically our project, so it was cool to meet her as well. And we got to see, like you see on screen, a lot of the different patented ingredient technology and complexes that CosMax has as well, which just goes to show, like, seeing first of all the scale of the CosMax campus as well as what they're able to do. And again, seeing only the team behind the mass and sun care and seeing how big that space was, I can only imagine all the other teams. But for me as a chemist, like, I was losing my mind and I was like, this is everything. So yeah, that was really exciting. Also, because of Beauty of Joseon, I got to meet a lady named Ji-hyun Cho, and with her, we got a really cool behind the scenes look at the history of Hanbang and where it's going in the future. It was actually in this presentation, in this meeting, that I actually found out that a lot of the brands we know here in the West as K-beauty brands don't have a huge presence, if at all, in Korea itself, because they chose to pursue a more global appeal first. But it was really cool with her kind of learning about, okay, here's what ingredients are really popular on the market or currently what are really trending, and here's what we're going to see potentially in the future as some ingredients that could be worth looking at. So that was a really cool presentation. If you don't follow her, go follow her. I'll have her socials here on screen. But she was a lot of fun to listen to, and it was really cool, again, getting that perspective internally from someone who works in the industry, because her title specifically is cosmetics expert and cosmetic critic. So it was interesting getting her perspective on Korean cosmetics as well. So on top of the Hanbang lecture, we also got to go to a Hanbang museum with Alyssa and Sumin from the Beauty of Joseon team, and that was really cool as well. So with that, we're seeing like history of what Hanbang is in Korea, and you see that first of all, the panel of shelves of just all the different botanical extracts, all the like animal parts that they get Hanbang ingredients from, because it's not just like Camelia seed extract or Artemisia, no, it's like a whole range of different things that are considered Hanbang ingredients. We learned the history of what that was for Korea. We also got to do this really fun little foot bath, so you choose your specific Hanbang thing, which for us, I think we chose strawberry. And then you just like soak your feet in this really hot bath with that extract in there. And of course, each of the extracts is going to have a specific benefit that it's targeting. That was also really fun and interesting. If you're in Seoul, I'll have it here on screen. Definitely worth checking out to learn a little bit more again about the history of Korea in terms of Hanbang as traditional medicine and skincare ingredients. So then I leave Korea, come back to London. At this point, I'm actually transitioning to move from London to Germany. So that's worth noting. And so since we had met with Juan and we decided on the final formulation, at that point is when Alyssa starts sending me what will be the final samples. And so with that, I'm really testing what's the user experience going to look like with this sun stick. And so from there, I'm really giving the feedback of this is pilling. I don't like this. The skin feel is not nice. This is really shiny still. And we're really just to the nitty gritty. We're like getting down to like addressing each individual concern. Because I'm honestly, real talk, I was stressed. I was like, I cannot have done content for this long and represent what I represent and launch a crap product. And they were like, we also just came off the tail end of a super successful sunscreen launch with the Relief Sun. We want this next launch to be just as successful. So the pressure was on for both of us, let's be real. And so with each sample that they kept sending, I was like, I need more matte, I need more matte, I need more matte. Elevate the silica, do this, do that. And so we finally nailed it. And an issue with nailing the final product was we also had to send these off for SPF testing. That was why Alyssa was like, we need to figure out what this is going to be because we need to send it off for testing. And that's not going to be like we'll have results in a week. Like, no, it's going to take well over a month, 2 months, maybe even 3 months. And actually, there was an issue with the SPF testing because one of the results actually fell below 50. And so that was oh shoot, we had to scramble and optimize the formula once again. This was kind of tailing into, we had to fly back to Korea in early December. And it was literally, I think, in the car after we landed back in Seoul again, and we were in the car with Alyssa, where she was like, good news, both lab results came back. We're getting close to SPF 60 on this formula, so we're all good. And we were like, thank God. And so as I mentioned, we went to Korea a second time. And so for that trip, we were actually doing the photo shoot that ended up on the PR box, which was a lot of fun. And so we show up to the shoot in a really cool loft space. The photographer there is getting ready. And then we got to meet the makeup artist, Sohyun, and she was a vibe. She was so cute. It was obviously okay, so what's the vibe for the shoot? What do we want for the makeup? I actually have a whole separate video for that on Instagram and TikTok, but it was so cool having her do my makeup. And I was like analyzing like, what was the skin prep? What was the foundation she used? How did she achieve the look and everything? It was really, really fun. And it's actually because of her, I ended up changing my hair a little bit because if you can see on the PR box, it was low-key like an off-center part, and she did this really cool, I was honestly very Korean Idol inspired. I was like, I'm having my idol moment here. It was because of her and how she did my hair that I was like, I should maybe adopt this a little bit. And so I did a variation of that now. And then the shoot was really fun. The photographer was really cool. And it's only the second time I've ever got my makeup done and had a photo shoot in a professional setting like that. The first time was for an Inculus campaign ages ago. I was honestly just there for the vibes. And I felt bad because I was nervous and they're like, are you okay? Are you good? And I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to like mess up or like, you know, fuck up. This is a big deal. But the shoot was fun. And it's funny because Alyssa was like, the photographer was very serious. And I was like, I've seen Top Model. Like it could be a lot worse. Let's be real here. And then aside from that, that was the main part of that visit. That was the first time actually at the shoot that I got to see the final packaging for the sun stick. So for me, that was like okay, this is it. This is for real now. And also for that part of the trip was when we got to see the Beauty of Joseon flagship store in Seoul. They had just opened it a few weeks before. So we actually got to go and see it, visit the space, and just kind of hang out. I got to see their brand director, Sumin, again. And we also got to meet Minji and Minso from the Beauty of Joseon team as well, which I hadn't met before. And we had a lot of fun with them. And so the Beauty of Joseon flagship store was so cute. The vibe and the aesthetic was really, really nice. It was very minimal, but you got to see the way they had the products lined up by like basically ingredient family. It was really cool kind of being there and seeing the interest, because when we were first starting the collaboration, we went to Korea the first time. Beauty of Joseon was just starting to get their stuff put into Olive Young. So they were just getting put into the main Myeongdong Olive Young store. So going from that to their own flagship store was a huge, huge deal for them. So we got to see people come in and they were like, there was interest in the, oh, we've heard of this brand a little bit. And not even from like foreigners, from like locals, which was really, really cool to see. I was really happy to witness that. And while we were there, I also decided I wanted to interview their brand director, Sumin, to kind of get her perspective on this whole brand collaboration and what it meant to her and what her perspective was of it. So let's watch that as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Sumin and I'm the brand director of Beauty of Joseon.
And as you can see, we're in a very special space right now. We are in the Beauty of Joseon brick and mortar store here in Samcheong. And we're here for a very special reason. As you already know in this video, we came out with a sun stick. So Sumin, tell us about the sun stick and where does this fit in the Beauty of Joseon story?
So the first reason why we started to develop the sun stick is because we already have Relief Sun, which is our best-selling product. But that one has kind of like moisturizing cream texture, but some people, especially with oily skin, they don't really prefer, right? They don't really prefer
Glow.
Yes, so that's why we started to develop this idea.
When you reached out to me, the idea was we're launching a sun stick. The idea was we wanted it to be great for oily skin. So we highlighted matte finish.
Right.
And then what other ingredients did we include to make it fit within that Beauty of Joseon story in mind?
It was very long time ago, right? Since we first reached out to you, it was like a half a year ago, I think.
More.
Yeah, so there were a few of ingredients list that we can go for. And then we ended up with Mugwort, which is a great calming Hanbang ingredient. So we decided to choose Mugwort as a main ingredient.
And it also features camellia seed oil as well. As a sun stick, oil-soluble ingredients were necessary, as you saw with the formulator. And then why did you reach out to me, of all people? This is what I want to know.
잠깐만, 이거 너무 오래돼서 it has been a long time ago, so we have to like go back to the first point. I mean, there are a lot of like skincare influencers in the world, but the most important reason why I reached out to you was because that you are a formulator. So yeah, we wanted to work with the professional. And as you might already know, we are not like entertaining brand. We are really genuine. We are really serious about skincare. So we didn't want to work with the entertaining influencers or something like that, someone like that. So we wanted to find one which perfectly fits with our brand philosophy. Yeah. So yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So as we mentioned, it's already great for oily skin. It is great if you have pigmentation to pair along with some other Beauty of Joseon favorites, like for example, the Glow Deep Serum, which is one of my favorites. What are some other qualities about the sunstick that you enjoy?
When we launch a new product, we always think why we should launch this product. So we wanted to provide another option of sunscreen that you can choose. Like you said before, it's matte finish. It's perfect for the oily skin, and it's really convenient to use because it's a stick type, so you don't need to squeeze out like with your dirty hand. You can just reapply on your skin. Easy to carry everywhere, especially during when you're traveling.
Also for me, it was important that this could be worn with makeup. I will also say that I've never had success reapplying any sunstick over makeup. So for me, this preps the skin well for makeup. It goes really great underneath makeup. Reapplication over makeup, not the best, but for me, I have a lot of followers who don't wear makeup, who are very low maintenance, or even men with facial hair. Therefore, those are all things I was considering for reapplying this, that those would be the people that this would be best for as well. So I talked about the sunstick and how it fits perfectly within the product lineup of Beauty of Joseon. Sumin, is there anything you can tease? You can tell us about any future launches from Beauty of Joseon? Sneak peek.
Okay, so we're going to launch our first body care product, which is our big project of next year. We developed our own scent only for Beauty of Joseon with pine ingredients. So that is the first one. And we're also gonna launch some products as well with different options, especially like waterproof. Those are the like main products that are gonna be launched next year.
So they said, we are the sunscreen brand. We're gonna stay the sunscreen.
맞아.
Okay, well, big thank you to Sumin and the entire Beauty of Joseon team. I hope you love our sunstick.
Bye.
And also when I was talking to Alyssa, she was kind of teasing with me the upcoming, like, here's what we're hoping to do in the future. So, I mean, Alyssa, if you're watching this, I would still love to be a part of those development processes in the future. Please and thank you. But it was really cool. Again, just kind of like, it felt like so long, but realistically, that was like 9 months. We saw this project go from like initial thought, inception, to basically the final steps of it, which I'd never actually seen before, an entire process like that. I've only been parts of it along the way. So yeah, here we are now. It's late February. The product has been sold out now actually for a couple weeks. So the product did sell out. It was a very, very hot commodity, very hyped up. And I'm very happy to say like the product did sell out very quickly. Also, if you're watching this, the product will hopefully be restocked very, very soon. But yeah, honestly, that was such a whirlwind of a year of getting to do a collab so early in my social media career, getting to partner with a brand like Beauty of Joseon, who I've said this before in a story, but like we kind of started at the same time, them as a brand, me as a content creator. They're honestly, I think one of the first brands to send PR to me and to reach out to me me. So we've grown together as a brand, and I was very, very honored to be chosen to do this with them. Very honored, very blessed, very thankful, especially to you guys for helping make that possible. But yeah, hopefully we'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully this is not the last of these collaborations with Beauty of Joseon. Again, I would love to continue this partnership with them. And so with that, that was how the Glow by Ramon x Beauty of Joseon Matte Sun Stick collaboration came to be. Let me know down below in the comment section any questions you have about the process I didn't address, or any clarification you guys might want about what really went into developing a sun stick. And also, again, huge shout out to everyone involved. Beauty of Joseon, obviously Alyssa put up with so much for me, so big a shout out to Alyssa. Huge shout out to Sumin as well, because I feel like so much of this was her idea as well. Obviously, I owe a lot to her from just the beginning of my content creating journey till now. Minji, Siyeon, Jaehoon, Hanu, Nayoung, and Minso, just because the whole Beauty of Joseon team, from the design to the product development to the content and everything around this launch, there's so much went into this. So I can't even imagine what that was like for them trying to get everything organized. So huge shout out to them. And obviously to Juan and his team over at CosMax, because again, y'all did the work. I'm so happy with the product we were able to collaboratively put together, and meeting him and having those discussions of what goes into the product, we want in a product, what's going to work in this product. For me as a chemist, which is very fulfilling to have that conversation. It was a big dream come true, full circle moment for me to be able to do that. So huge shout out to him and his team as well. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you know when I post more skincare, sunscreen, and Fenty related content on my channel. Give the video a thumbs up, and thanks for watching, guys. Bye.